Hello, and welcome to Tovi, the new data analysis software. In this session, I'm going to show you how to create a new site and to bring in some EddyPro files. We'll start by going up here to the right-hand side and clicking on the New Site button. You'll be prompted to enter the name of your site. In this case, I'm going to enter LERS for the LI-COR Environmental Research Site. Then I'll click here to add files. Here I have 1 year of data, and I'll bring in these 3 EddyPro files. The biomet data, the full output data, which is the most important, and some metadata. Next, I'll go to the site information node. In this node, it asks to bring in the .metadata and the .EddyPro data. I have those here. You can find them in the GHG software bundle and bring those in yourself. I've copied one of those each year. Now that those are loaded, this populates all the fields you can see on this page here, including the latitude and longitude, which allows us to drop a pin on the map of where your site is located. Go ahead and lock this information if you're certain on those coordinates. If they're not correct, go ahead and enter those correct coordinates and then hit lock and continue. We now move to the third node, where we will bring in external data. We start here on a map, which indicates the weather station data that we can bring in to our data set. Here we have the ERAI data, or the Reanalysis Interim data. This data is hosted by the European Center for Medium-Range Weather Forecasting, and they use model and observation information to create a global coverage of grids or panels all around the world here. Typically, they each have 80 kilometer spatial resolution. We choose the 9 closest panels. To bring in data from a couple of these panels, I can go ahead and select those here, like that. Now you'll also notice some black pins on the map. This is the NOAA Integrated Surface Data, or the ISD stations. There are about 30,000 of these around the world. I can go ahead and select one of these here near the airport. When I'm ready to bring this data in and create my station, I'll go ahead and click on the Create button here. In this session, I'm going to show you how to create a file and import SmartFlux files. We'll start by going over to the right-hand side and clicking on the New Site button. You're going to be prompted to enter the name of your site. In this example, I'm going to call this LERS for the LI-COR Environmental Research Site. Next, we'll go here to bring in our files. I have a folder here full of my SmartFlux files. I have about 2 months of data here, which is about 60 files. SmartFlux files are created once per day. Once all those files are brought in, I can go to the node here labeled Site Information. Here I'm asked to bring in either a .metadata file or a .EddyPro file. I'm going to bring in a .metadata file. To find this file, you can look in your GHG software file bundles and find that file. I've gone ahead and stored one here. When I bring in that file, you can see that all the fields are updated with that information, including the latitude and longitude of your site. That enables us to drop a pin on the map locating your site. If I'm certain that the latitude and longitude are correct, I can go ahead and lock this information in. If I need to change those before saving them, I can go ahead and enter the real latitude and longitude and then lock that information. Next, I'm going to go to the external data node here. When I come to this site, this is where I'm going to bring in the external weather station data. This map will illustrate several types of weather station data I can bring in. The first I'll talk about is the ERAI, or the Reanalysis Interim data. This data is hosted by the European Center for Medium-Range Weather Forecasting, and it takes modeled and observation information to create global coverage that's shown in grids. They're about 80 kilometer spatial resolution. Our software here will pick the 9 closest to your site. For example, I can load data in from these 2 particular grids. Next, if you zoom in, you'll notice black pins here, which are actual NOAA Integrated Surface Data Stations, or ISD stations. There's about 30,000 of these around the world. We select the 4 closest. I can go ahead and pick one, for example, here by the airport. When I'm ready to import all my data and create my station, I simply go up here and click on the Create button.